The idea of crossbreeding dairy cows to beef sires has become a growing practice on dairies all across the United States. Russell Nemitz has a look at this trend and how it's a win-win for both the beef and dairy industries.
There are roughly 10 million head of dairy cows in the United States. And although dairy cull cows are a very important part of the overall beef supply, the dairy bull calves that are fed out for beef get a lower return per head compared to beef breeds.
Dairy calves have a long history of being deducted, selling at a discount, even after they've been on feed, even when quality grades are good. And it's just the sheer fact that they have lower red meat yield. They have less cutability.
At the 2022 Cattlemen's College, Jerry Wolf of Wolf Cattle presented on the topic of crossing dairy cows with beef sires. He says one goal of a beef on dairy cross breeding program is to add muscle to a dairy calf.
You think of the genetics in them cattle, they're bred to milk, they're not bred to produce beef. So when you can cross them with the right beef bull, you put more muscle on that carcass, you just enhance red meat yield, you have more pounds of carcass to sell. It's always been this way. Red meat is the most efficient to produce, so they then convert feed to carcass gain better, and it's a win-win. Once it got started, it's kind of been a no-brainer to adapt to, and what it took was the technology or the advent of sex semen. So a dairy heifer calf has always had a lot more value than a dairy bull calf because it goes back into the dairy herd as a replacement. So once that dairyman had the ability to make his only use sexed heifer semen, it then freed up half or more of his herd to use beef bulls on to make a more ideal beef calf.
Now, Wolf Cattle is taking part in this trend. Their breeding to feeding system uses their limousine genetics to provide a high-quality beef sire that's made with the dairy cow in mind. The goal is to produce a dairy calf cross that is of higher quality and that better fits the needs of the beef industry.
This started gaining traction 8-10 years ago. There was a lot of thought that as long as I used beef semen or beef genetics that it would do the job. And we found out, so I think as you will talk to packers, which is our customers that buys the fed cattle, they're not all created equal. And what they were starting to really be challenged with was a wide variation in the cattle types of the different beef on dairy crosses. So they would say it more than anybody that they really want these beef on dairy cross cattle coming out of systems that have some methodology behind them, starting with the right genetics and good management all through the production chain.
Beef and dairy producers are still learning about the options available with this production practice. But Jerry Wolf says he hopes the beef on dairy cross will add value throughout the entire production chain.
We're just making a better quality calf, so we don't have to deal with that population of dairy calves that I think in the past was a bit of a drag on the beef industry, and now they can blend in and fit better.
I'm Russell Nemitz for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Now, if you were unable to attend Cattlemen's College in Houston, you can still watch these informative sessions. All the presentations were recorded and they'll be available for viewing online. Just visit ncba.org and click on the Producers tab to view this valuable content.